On a quiet Wednesday afternoon, a man walked into a beachside salon carrying 3 loaded handguns. He wasn't frantic, and he wasn't shouting. He was calm and focused. Within 2 minutes, 9 people were shot, and 8 of them were dead, later going on to be considered one of the deadliest mass shootings in Orange County's history. The following is about the man who snapped, taking his ex-wife and multiple others with him. This is the story of Scott Dekraai. Scott Evans Dekraai was born on October 17, 1969, and raised in Seal Beach, California. He spent much of his early life living with his grandparents. Locals remember him as a quiet, athletic kid. As a young man, Dekraai found work on the water, eventually rising to captain on the Catalina Express. But in 2000, he was fired after allegedly showing up impaired and refusing a drug test. By 2007, he was managing tugboats along the California coast. He was experienced and trusted. But in February of that year, a routine job turned violent. While securing a barge line, he was crushed between 2 massive vessels, and his leg was nearly torn apart. The damage required multiple surgeries and a long recovery. He would never return to the water again. He was placed on permanent disability and stopped working completely. But something else broke that day too: his mind. Doctors diagnosed Dekraai with post-traumatic stress disorder. Later evaluations cited possible bipolar disorder, and he was placed on psychiatric medication. Court records described a man gripped by paranoia, rage, and emotional instability. His friends also noticed the change. He became explosive and impossible to reason with. That same year, he filed a restraining order against his own stepfather after a violent fight inside their home. His mental decline was real, documented, and irreversible. As it worsened, his marriage also began to fall apart. In 2003, Scott Dekraai married Michelle Fournier, a hairstylist who worked at the Salon Massacre. Together, they had a son named Dominic, and he was just 8 years old when the custody battle exploded. But in 2007, just months after the tugboat accident, Michelle filed for divorce. The custody battle that followed was vicious. Michelle accused Scott of controlling behavior and emotional abuse, while Scott claimed Michelle was alienating him from Dominic. Each side said that the other was mentally unstable. The case dragged through Orange County courts for the next 4 years. Scott remarried and divorced again, while Michelle kept primary custody. But Dekraai wanted more. Michelle told her friends that she was afraid, and in a sworn court filing, she wrote, "If anything ever happens to me, it was Scott." On October 11th, 2011, Judge Thomas Goethals recommended near equal custody. It wasn't a final ruling, but Dekraai saw it as a betrayal. He believed that the courts had sided with her, and within 24 hours, he returned to the Salon Massacre with a plan.
911 emergency. I can't understand you, ma'am.
Seal Beach, PCH and 50, Salon Massacre. A gunman came in and killed a bunch of people that all were dying on the floor.
At 1:21 p.m. on October 12, 2011, Scott Dekraai walked into Salon Massacre wearing a bulletproof vest beneath a button-down shirt, a 9mm pistol, a .44 Magnum revolver, and a .45 caliber pistol. He also wore tactical earmuffs designed to muffle the sounds of his own gunfire. What happened next lasted less than 2 minutes, but would become the deadliest mass shooting in Orange County's history. The exact order of the victims remains disputed, due to eyewitnesses and even Dekraai offering different versions in his statements. But the names and the toll are not in question. Michelle Fournier, his ex-wife, was among the first to be shot. She was working near the shampoo station, and according to multiple reports, Dekraai looked at her and said, "This is what you wanted," and then he pulled the trigger. Salon owner Randy Fannin stood and tried to reason with him, saying, "Scott, think about what you are doing." But unfortunately, he was shot in the chest. From there, Dekraai moved methodically through the salon, targeting stylists, clients, and anyone in his path. Christy Wilson, Laura Webb, who tried to flee, Victoria Buzzo at the coloring station, Michelle Fast in a styling chair, Lucia Condis seated beside her. Each of them were shot and killed. Laura's mother, 73-year-old Hattie Stretz, had just sat down when she was shot through the arm and chest. Laura died shielding her. Hattie survived by playing dead. Then Dekraai walked outside and saw David Coet sitting in his Range Rover, waiting for his lunch. Dekraai approached the driver's window, raised his weapon, and fired. Witnesses said he reloaded at least once. He didn't rush. He moved slowly and with purpose. There were about 20 people inside the salon that day. 9 were shot, and 8 unfortunately died. Police responded in under 2 minutes. Dekraai was arrested less than a mile away, calmly waiting at a red light while still wearing his body armor. He surrendered without a fight and confessed immediately, and he didn't just snap. He planned it. He checked Michelle's schedule and knew she'd be working. He brought 3 guns, extra magazines, and body armor, and even wore tactical earmuffs so he wouldn't hear the gunfire. He confessed to police that he killed David Coet because he thought that he was an undercover cop. This wasn't rage, it was revenge. Against Michelle, against the courts, and anyone else in the way. Scott Dekraai was charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. The Orange County District Attorney, Tony Rakakis, initially vowed to seek the death penalty, but the case unraveled. Dekraai pleaded guilty in May 2014, but his defense team uncovered a scandal inside the jail system. Orange County deputies had placed a jailhouse informant next to him, after he had already retained legal counsel. They recorded him without authorization, and the DA's office failed to disclose the tapes. In 2015, Judge Thomas Goethals, the same judge that helped Scott and Michelle through their custody battle, had ruled that the entire Orange County DA's office was compromised. He disqualified them from counting the case, and it was resigned to the California Attorney General at the time, Kamala Harris. Years passed, court delays mounted, and the families waited. In 2017, Judge Goethals removed the death penalty as an option, stating that misconduct had denied the victims' families a fair trial. Dekraai was sentenced to 8 consecutive life terms without parole, plus an additional 7 years to life for the attempted murder of Hattie Stretz. He is currently housed at a California state prison, and one thing for certain is he will die in there. But regardless of that, for many families, justice never came, accusing officials of obstructing justice and re-traumatizing the victims. The fallout from the informant scandal has cost the county more than $4 million in legal expenses and settlements.
These words are largely directed to the victims' surviving family members and friends, so many of whom are in this courtroom this morning. The criminal justice system here in Orange County has largely failed you. You deserve better than you received in this case. As for Mr. Dekraai, I order that he be transported forthwith to state prison to return or to serve the remainder of his sentence. Thank you, Counsel.
Hattie Stretz was the sole survivor of the massacre. She was 73 years old at the time, and she had come to the salon for her nails. Her daughter Laura was styling her hair. When the shooting started, Hattie was hit twice, once in the chest and once in the arm. She hit the floor, and her arm was shredded, but she stayed still. She later said, "I didn't realize I was shot. I felt searing pain in my heart and looked down to see my arm torn open." Paramedics rushed her to the ER. She survived, barely. She woke up to learn that her daughter was gone. 5 years later, Hattie gave her first interview. She said, "This 5th year is the hardest. I haven't held my baby in 5 years." She became a symbol in Seal Beach. She attended the memorial unveiling, and she carried the grief of the entire town. Each victim walked into the Salon Massacre that day expecting something simple: a haircut, a paycheck, a quiet afternoon, but unfortunately, none of them would ever walk back out. And Hattie Stretz, the one who survived, she would go on to carry all 8 names. The salon reopened in 2012, renovated and placed under new ownership. Some survivors even returned, but years later, it closed again. Today, the Salon Massacre is still up and running, and just a bit of ways away, in Eisenhower Park, a memorial now marks the lives lost forever. This wasn't a random act. It wasn't just mental illness. It was the result of years of resentment, legal warfare, and unchecked rage. 8 lives lost, 1 survivor, and a system that failed at every level. Hello everyone. As always, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching this video. If you happen to be new around here, welcome, and I hope you enjoyed as well. I try to post new videos every Friday at 6 p.m. EST. Now I know this one's coming out pretty late, but I really wanted to take the time to perfect this one. With that being said, I should have a new video up this Friday. I also want to take the time to say, thank you guys so much for 52 subscribers. I know it might not sound like a lot, but each and every day, we're growing more and more. So I just wanted to say thank you. If you guys enjoyed today's topic, please like, comment, and maybe even consider subscribing. It really helps push these videos out, and it gets them in front of more people. That's all I have for this one. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.